Hello and welcome back to the PES 2020 Master League with AS Roma. This episode is going to be fairly different today. Instead of having a small recap at the start of the video, this whole video is going to be a massive recap because it's 7 games long and there were just no games in the calendar that really stood out that would be kind of worth doing a live commentary of. So we're going to do all of these in succession. First game was against Torino. Took the lead through Edin Dzeko. Big man coming up trumps yet again. Not coming up trump because that just opens up a whole different world of questions, scenarios and issues. But Edin Dzeko gets away a second shot, this time does not put it into the back of the net. We were kind of bossing the game against Torino, but we were failing to kill the game off because this keeper was determined to ruin my day. A Centurion is denied by the Torino goalkeeper. Edin Dzeko as well, again denied by the Torino goalkeeper, whose name I really should have taken down. It's disrespectful. Although old boy Diego Perotti did come on for Torino. It was nice to see him, but we were kind of hoping that he wouldn't have a good game. As Torino did get the ball across to Bellotti, who went for the acrobatics and put it over the top of the crossbar. And that would do it for this game away at Torino. Coming off the back of that win against that huge win against Juventus. In the last episode we continue our winning ways against Torino, which is always good considering that we know that Juve will rarely slip up, so we need to keep pace with them. As we go into the second game against Bologna, I'll just spoil this one for you early on. Absolutely bugger all happens in this game. Dzeko with a header just wide, that's pretty much the main highlight of the game. The clearance from Bologna, it comes off somebody's head on the halfway line, can't remember who. Comes through to Dzeko, who plays it out to Centurion, who puts it into the back of the net and does a little dance. Gets down tonight, but I don't know if he made a little love in the intermittent period. All I do know is he's got his moves are funky fresh, by golly. But I'll tell you what was not funky fresh was our finishing for the rest of this game. That was about as good as it got. As we came to the final whistle, and there another 1-0 win, 3 1-0 victories in a row. Not the most enjoyable of games, that one, but it was functional, much like myself. Not overly enjoyable, but gets the job done in some way or another. Now this was the only game that really kind of would have been worth doing a live commentary for. It's our final Champions League game against Ajax. We needed a point to secure our passage into the second round, into the knockout stages. Hit the post early on, and then Ajax come forward through Lucas Podolski of all people to give them the lead, which kind of put the proverbial spanner in our proverbial works, as it stood currently we would be going out. But then this free kick from Florenzi crashes off the underside of the bar and bounces just in front of the line, preventing us from getting that equaliser that we needed. Hakim Ziyech went close for Ajax as well. Ball in towards Podolski. He gets another shot away and he hits the post. Ajax were really threatening. And then we had another free kick. Florenzi, this one crashes off the underside of the bar and I was certain went over the line. But alas, apparently not, as we go to the replay. Hits off, I think the keeper's tipped that onto the bar. It bounces down and there it is, millimetres away. I was furious, I was inconsolable, various other words that meant quite annoyed, considering we only needed a goal, which we eventually did get. Florenzi this time. He turns provider and off the lovely head of Gabriel Barbosa just before the hour mark to equalise for us and give us, as it stood at that point, that would take us into the knockout stages, until we went forward and he did it again with an absolutely ridiculous finish. This time off of his left foot, curls it away into the far corner, and we have the lead against Ajax. The current European champions, as it stood, would be heading out in the group stages, and we compounded the misery as Zaniolo went forward. Was going to shoot with him, but then I thought, you know what, we'll give Barbosa his hat-trick and guarantee that we're going to put it into the back of the net, which we did. The Brazilian bags another hat-trick, this time in Europe, to slay the European champions And finally, just to put the cherry on the icing on the cake, Barbosa gets his 4th goal, as the Ajax defence just seemed to give up and just like, you know what, no, cannot be bothered. As Barbosa went through, beat the offside trap, lovely ball played through to him, and he puts it into the back of the net to make it 4-1. But Ajax, however, did come forward again. Podolski put it wide, and that was their really real chance of the second half. As the whistle blew, and the lads were delighted, exuberant, joyous, really happy that we have qualified for the knockout stages of the Champions League, thrashing the European champions and putting them out of the Champions League at the first stage. And then the results came in, and we saw Dinamo Zagreb had defeated Red Bull Leipzig by 3-1. So we ended up finishing top of the group, which was an unexpected surprise. So we go top, and Leipzig finish second as we cycle through the rest of the Champions League groups. Atletico Madrid drop into the Europa League, as do Benfica and PSV, but Barcelona and Arsenal go through in that group. Lyon drop out, which is quite surprising, and Real Madrid and Juventus go through in Group H. And then a huge thing, we've been offered the job at Barcelona. Under normal circumstances, I would have absolutely taken it. However, we're looking to win the Champions League with Roma. However, the offer is still open until the 31st of December. So I'll leave a poll in the top right whether we should take the job at Barcelona or not. I have a feeling I know what you're going to say, but you know, just to say, just so as you can't say I didn't ask. But perhaps we should have considered it, as we went 1-0 down to Sampdoria through my absolute boy Fabio Quagliarella. Now this was we need to keep pace with Juventus. That's our main thing, as Florenzi steps up, hits the wall and goes into the back of the net. So we are back on level terms, because Juventus will rarely slip up throughout this season. So we need to match their consistency and show a fighting spirit, which we really have this season thus far, except for those 2 defeats in a row against Lazio and Napoli. As we came forward again, Edin Dzeko absolutely smashes it. It's kind of his trademark goal, that, where he makes a little bit of space, shuffles to the left or the right hand side, and then just bangs it into the back of the net. Like we've been saying about Dzeko all season, sort of he's has to settle for a sort of background role this year, but every time he comes on, he gets a couple of goals, which we can never complain about. Oh, we faffed about at the back here, and Rigoni gets a shot away. It's deflected wide for Sampdoria. As Florenzi strides forward, gets a ball across in towards Edin Dzeko, a bullet header into the back of the net. However, it's been ruled out for offside. We were incredulous at that decision until we saw the replay, and it was he was offside. Can't really say anything about that. However, we did get the 3rd goal through Cengiz there. No danger of him being offside there, as he rises above his man, possibly one of the smallest players on the pitch, and puts the ball into the back of the net off his lovely bounce to make it 3-1. And Amin Harry finally slides in Henrik Mkhitaryan, and he puts the ball into the back of the Sampdoria net with the last kick of the game to give us a 4-1 win over Sampdoria, the last kick of the game. And from a goal down, we come back to win by 4-1, which shows a real fighting spirit, and a fighting spirit that we really will need to embody this season. We did make a move in the transfer window. Antonio Morante is getting on a bit, and as much as I like him, we do need to get some younger backup in. So Simone Scoufet has been signed up for next season. He comes in the 1st of January to be our backup goalkeeper. A young lad who was touted for big things a few years ago. Has kind of dropped off the scene, but we will happily take him. So Simone Scoufet will be coming in January, which means we'll possibly look to move Antonio Morante on in the January window. But that will wait until then. We have to focus on this game against Udinese first, as we look to extend our winning run. Corner from Florenzi? Yes, a corner from Florenzi. Comes in and it's headed wide. It was a huge amount of, what's the word I'm looking for, but things did not go our way in this game until bang, 5 minutes left to play, and Nicola Zaniolo comes up clutch. We've scored a lot of goals in the last 5 or 10 minutes of games this season, which puts us in good stead. Can't really complain about that. Zaniolo gets absolutely bundled by his teammates, and we get another 1-0 win. It was a hard-fought, scrappy game against Udinese. They always seem to give us a bit of bother, but we've managed to overcome them again. And Nicola Zaniolo, you better put that shirt back on, son. If you catch a cold and you have to miss games, I'll be bloody fuming. Get the Beecham's bet into you, boy. And moving swiftly, oh bloody hell, there's a lot of games here. Knackered already. I was getting this game away at Empoli, newly promoted Empoli. Now, there's a lot of chances in this game, chances which we did not make the most of as Mkhitaryan went through. It was a really good save though to deny him. Ball comes in from the resulting corner, and the referee blows his whistle and he points to the spot. He gives us a penalty, a rare sight as our mulleted friend here. God love you, sir. I'll fix that for you, because anyone who has a mullet in 2019, well, we need to get that sorted, is all we'll say, as he dives in. No, he can't really complain about that, to be honest, as Empoli give away a penalty. Jordan Veretout steps up. Now, keep in mind, I'm aiming bottom right here, straight down the middle, which I'm kind of delighted about, otherwise we would have missed. But I don't know how to take penalties in this game. It's a good thing I rarely get them. They always end up going straight down the middle. As Harit plays through Christian Russo, who chips the keeper. It was a really good effort, but he really should have scored. And then Mkhitaryan coming in, he should have scored. Two absolute sitters that we've missed, and I'm thinking, is this going to come back and bite us in the arse, metaphorically speaking? Turns out no. Russo plays in Mkhitaryan, takes his time, and slots it past the goalkeeper to double our lead against Empoli. Heinrich Mkhitaryan has proven his worth this year, and yet another player who's not going to have the most amount of playing time this season, but whenever he does play, he tends to play really, really well, which is what we need. The strength and depth in this Roma side is quite terrific, and it's something that we value greatly. Coming into the 71st minute, Mkhitaryan goes through again, and he misses yet another sitter. Could have had a hat-trick, Henrik. What are you doing? Empoli get another shot away. That's their biggest chance of the game in the second half, really, to be fair. And that's the end. That's how this game ended. A 2-0 win away at Empoli. Just plying on. It's function over style at this stage of the game. As long as we're getting those wins. Inter Milan, another job offer. Bloody hell, if I got this many job offers in real life, I'd be a happy, happy boy. But we're definitely not taking the job at Inter Milan. But the one at Barcelona is still available. So, like I say, vote in the poll to voice your opinion on whether or not we should go to Barcelona. And we finally come into the last game of this recap. Thank Jesus. Against Spal away. We had the early chance with the Chenguzinder free kick, which went just over the bar. This we did not expect. Lopez he's had an absolute brain melt. He's decided to come out and just fall over. And Petagna, to be fair, that is a really good finish from Andrea Petagna to give Spal the unexpected lead in this game, which we did not want, obviously. Barbosa, lovely turn, and he can't put the ball on target, considering that Juventus would most likely win their game. We had 2 points advantage on Juventus currently, which was looking rather fragile as Petagna gets his and Spal's second of the game, which put us under a severe amount of pressure. That 2-point lead at the top of the Serie A table had disappeared at this stage of proceedings as Barbosa hits the post. And so at this point where you're thinking, well, today's not going to be our day. Today's the day where we will drop out of top spot and drop back into second place. But Daniele Rugani says, absolutely no, boss, not a chance. Wins the ball, picks it up in his own half, drives and drives and drives, plays it to Zaniolo, who smashes it into the back of the net. But all the credit in the world to Daniele Rugani for all the work that he's done to get us that goal. Of course, Zaniolo with the finish, and then just straight away after that, El Shaarawy finds Zaniolo, bang, 2-2. Why couldn't we have done that earlier on? from 2-0 down. We scored 2 goals in 2 minutes to bring us back to a Desmond 2-2. Cristante drove forward. This keeper again decided to have a bloody worldie, as Cristante is denied, then Dzeko is denied. And that is how this game would finish, a very disappointing 2-2 draw away at Spal, a game which we should have won, really, arguably. But we didn't lose, which is the main thing. And with that draw, we sit top of the Serie A table, but only we're on level on points with Juve. We are ahead only on goal difference. Our records are absolutely identical. But yeah, it's as tight as ever at the top of the Serie A. And that's where we're going to leave this video for this episode of the Master League. If you did enjoy it, do hit that like button, do hit that subscribe button. Thank you all so very much for watching as per usual, and we will see you as always in the next one.